As we sit a week out from Selection Sunday, we bring you comfort and knowledge in the form of CBS Sports bracketologist Jerry Palm. Jerry, I know you got a long, hard week ahead of you here, but as we sit a week out from Selection Sunday, who are the number one seeds right now?
Well, it's the same that the committee gave us a few weeks ago when they had their reveal. It's Alabama, number one in the South, Houston in the Midwest. Kansas has jumped Purdue in that meantime, so Kansas is now number 3 and Purdue's number 4. And, Purdue had a rough 3-week stretch there where they lost, 4 out of 6. And there was an opportunity for someone to jump them, but every time that opportunity presented itself, the teams chasing them also lost. So it hasn't happened yet, but there's definitely, like UCLA, for example, could be a threat to join the top line, or possibly Texas from the Big 12 still. All
depending on what happens in the conference tournaments,
at this point,
of course.
Yeah.
Now, one team we've been watching all season, heck, they made it all the way to the championship game last season, is North Carolina. Never before has a preseason number 1 missed the tournament. What are the Tar Heels' tournament hopes at the moment?
Well, they're not so great. And I think that perhaps, we overreacted making them preseason number 1. After all, they were an 8 seed last year. And they had to get hot to be an 8 seed, and then they stayed hot in the tournament, and so everybody overreacted to that. That said, with all the guys they have coming back, they should be better than an 8 seed this year, and they may miss the tournament entirely. They're 1-9 in quad 1 games, and that's the biggest problem. That's just not a good enough record. And they had an opportunity against Duke and couldn't finish it. So Virginia at home is their only quad 1 win. Now, when you go to the conference tournament, neutral court games, it's not top 30 for home games. It's top 50 for neutral court. So NC State and Miami become in play for possible quad 1 wins. North Carolina's draw doesn't help them much. They could get Virginia right off the bat and have another shot at them. But if they get past Virginia, the next game could be Clemson, and that doesn't help them any. So if they need 2 quad 1 wins, they may have to get all the way to the championship game, and then if you win the championship, you're the champion.
I liked it. We got a little preview of the ACC tournament there, so let's keep that going and talk about some conferences, maybe the power conferences getting into conference tournament play this week. Let's start in the Big East. What's a team we should be on the lookout for in the Big East?
Yeah, for the Big East, the top has been really solid, but lately Providence has fallen back to the pack a little bit, and they're going to be in the middle of the bracket right now. Now, they've got a great opportunity to play their way back up, but they're going to have to get things turned around. And if they go out bounce early, they could end up with a double-digit seed. Kind of surprising, really, given how well they had been up until about 2 weeks ago.
All right, that's the Big East. How about in the Big Ten?
Yeah, for the Big Ten, I think the focus is on Purdue. Purdue was the overall number 1 seed in my bracket for most of this season until the committee gave us Alabama, actually. And then Purdue lost 4 out of 6, struggled a little bit down the stretch of this season. That they seem to have picked things up a little bit here going into conference tournament play. If they win the conference tournament, they'll be a 1 seed. If they don't, they're vulnerable to being jumped.
All right, that's the Big Ten. Purdue with the big man. In the Big 12, been one of the deepest and strongest conferences all season long. What's a team to look out for as the tournament starts?
Yeah, that's been one of the strongest conferences we've ever seen top to bottom. You got to look for Oklahoma State. That's the team that's been really close to the cut line. For them, it's just a matter of having a good enough record to get in. They're going to be in one of the 7 to 10 games. So, that's a game that they've got to win, and they may have to win one more just to have a good enough record to get picked. It's as simple as that. The strength of schedule, the quality of the wins, not so much a problem, but at some point your record's got to be good enough.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Big 12, one of the deepest conferences this year. Pac-12, strong at the top, UCLA and Arizona. Which team are you looking out for?
Well, UCLA, because the thing that's kept UCLA off the top line of the bracket is just the lack of higher quality wins. Until they beat Arizona at home, their best win this entire season was a road win at Maryland. And Maryland is a middle of the bracket team. So, that when you're competing with Kansas and Purdue and Arizona Alabama, and the quality of the wins that those teams can stack, and all you've got is now a win over Arizona, that's not quite good enough for me. But if they beat them again in the conference tournament, now you've got a neutral court win and you beat them 2 out of 3. I think you've got a stronger case.
We got a possible preview of the SEC title game with the top 2 seeds facing off on Saturday of this weekend. Texas A&M snapping that win streak of Alabama. What's a team in the SEC that you're keeping an eye on?
Well, in the SEC, it's at the bottom. It's Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has come out of nowhere lately and stacked a few good wins, including one at Rupp Arena against Kentucky to play themselves really onto the bubble. Now, they're going to have to keep going. They had to get hot so we could even talk about them. Now, can they stay hot, stack a few more quality wins, and maybe actually play themselves onto the bottom of the bracket when literally 2 weeks ago, we weren't paying attention to them at all.
Somebody's going to be coming out of nowhere this week.
It's the way it always is, isn't
Yeah,
it?
either ruining somebody's season or making theirs or both. It's going to be so much fun to watch. That's Jerry Palm. He's our CBS Sports bracketologist. Jerry, thank you so much. 32 automatic bids to be handed out. 3 teams punched their ticket to the big dance on Sunday in the Big South. UNC Asheville, Drake out of the Missouri Valley, and Kennesaw State from the Atlantic Sun.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.